Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time clicking on the video, welcome. My name is Akashik and this is Question Everything TV. Today's topic, an explanation of consciousness that makes sense. In this video, I will break down consciousness in a simple form so that from this point on, when you hear someone talking about it, you will have an awareness of what it truly means. So without further delay, let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is set the parameters of what consciousness is. Webster's defined consciousness as the act of being aware. So with that definition, consciousness is a byproduct of awareness, which includes the following: awareness of, alertness to, realization of, mindfulness of, perception of, knowledge of existence. These are all actions that precede the state of consciousness. Let's go deeper. The root origins of the word consciousness comes from the Latin word conscius, which means knowing with or sharing knowledge with. It is derived from the combination of con, meaning with, and seer, meaning to know. So to be conscious is to have knowledge with yourself. But where is consciousness located? In the book, The Kabbalion, it states, the first natural law is the law of mentalism, which states basically that all is mind. Everything is in the mind of God. Everything exists in the consciousness of God. Now, that's a heavy claim, but let's examine this claim a little deeper. Suppose we looked into the holy text of the Bible and replaced the word of God with consciousness. How would Genesis read? It would sound like this. Now, remember, the Kabbalion is saying that all is happening as a thought in the consciousness of God. So let us read. In the beginning, consciousness created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of consciousness moved upon the face of the water. And consciousness said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And consciousness saw the light, that it was good. And consciousness divided the light from the darkness. Now this is the creation of duality, the first formation of opposites and polarity. Now remember this, because it will come into play later, trust me. And consciousness called the light day, and called the darkness night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, I won't read further, but in this interpretation, everything that is being created is happening as the beginning of a thought in the mind of God. Now, I'm definitely not saying this is true or not true. However, when I began to read the Bible in this way, it opened up a new level of clarity that I didn't have before. Even in the Bible verse, John 10:30, Jesus says, "I and the Father are one." If the Father is God and you replace God with consciousness, then it would mean that in the teaching, Jesus is saying he and consciousness are one. Now, I know this is heavy, and for some that's hard to digest, especially for religious people. But I'm not representing this claim as a fact. I'm asking you to keep an open mind. That's all. It will all come together soon. So we looked at this concept of mentalism from a biblical perspective. Now let's look at it from a scientific perspective. Science says that everything started from a single Big Bang, a single point. But what is a thought in your mind like? Is it not like a single point that then explodes into possibilities, ideas, and concepts? If everything is mental and the source had a thought, wouldn't that be like a spark of creation that becomes more and more elaborate as thought evolves? Wouldn't that spark resemble a Big Bang event? Isn't that what's happening in your mind? You get a flash and a thought appears out of nowhere, and then you expound on that thought and it grows and grows. Now, I respect science and I agree with science in most cases. However, the one thing science will never be able to explain is consciousness. So that would lead to the obvious question. If I'm saying we are in consciousness, the question would be, so where's consciousness? My reply to that is, where is it not? So, if there is nothing but consciousness, then how do we explain the nature of things? Everything found in nature is simply an extension of consciousness, in as much as everything in nature is a part of consciousness. So, if we know that nature is consciousness, then you realize any action harmful to nature is an attack on consciousness. Once you realize this, you no longer litter, you no longer want to create and use bombs for destruction, you no longer want to destroy our atmosphere, you respect plants, animals, our planet, and treat everything with love. Okay, then that accounts for nature, but what about us humans? How are we a part of consciousness? We are the uncaused cause, and the real truth is that you were here before your physical birth, and you will be here after your illusionary death. We all come from the same source, but we all have different functions. There is no one size fits all. We are like a singing choir, many individual voices making a collective sound. Unfortunately, since we as a society have fallen asleep, we have forgotten that we all need to sing the same harmony. So instead of unity, the sound is distorted. Nature is singing in the right key. Us humans are the only ones singing off key. Only when we all sing in harmony, in the same key, along with nature, will we be what we are meant to be. We call ourselves human beings, when in truth, we are consciousness being human. And the universe is just a process that consciousness is going through to understand itself. We see it in the form we call evolution. Consciousness seeks to experience itself, so it became nature. And nature in its evolution seeks to progressively become consciousness. This speaks to the law of rhythm and expansion out into nature and a retraction back to pure consciousness, a breath out and an inhale in. Universal consciousness is in a constant state of growth and evolution. It is learning the nature of itself through the process of destruction and correction, through chaos and order. Without destruction and rebirth, there could be no growth in nature. This process is needed so that universal consciousness can be aware of the nature of itself. It can only know love, growth, and life through experiencing the opposite of itself. If there was only light, you could know yourself as light, but you could only have an experience of being light only if there was darkness. Only through a journey of friction can you grow to know what you are made of. This goes back to the Bible verse I read earlier. This is why consciousness had to split its thought into duality, night and day. Okay, so then you might ask, but how is consciousness in and a part of me? Fair question. When you were born, what was the first thing that happened? You took a huge in-breath. Consciousness entered your physical body. From that time until death, consciousness is being breathed in as order and breathe out as chaos. This happens your whole life until you die. And what happens at death? Upon death, when you take your last breath of consciousness, you take a huge exhale and consciousness leaves the body. How can I prove this to be? Think about it like this. If I were to put you in a chokehold, what would happen? Your heart would still beat, your mind would work, your blood would still flow. The first thing that would happen is you would lose consciousness. You are cut off from the consciousness, so the physical body passes out. When I release you from the choke, what happens? You regain consciousness. Your connection to consciousness is restored. Hopefully that makes sense to you. You've been taught your whole life that you are breathing air. No, that's not air. It's consciousness. Once again, where is consciousness? The answer, where is it not? Consciousness is nothing and no thing all at the same time. Consciousness is nowhere and now here in the same instances. Consciousness is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. But because you are asleep, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You know I couldn't have a video without a Matrix movie reference, right? Once you realize the presence of consciousness in you, you cannot look at nature and be the same. A tree always tries to become the biggest, tallest, best tree it can be. A lion wakes up every morning and strives to be the best lion it can be. A dolphin swims in the ocean as smooth and as graceful as it can be. A bumblebee strives to be the absolute best honeymaker it can be. A flower smells the best it can every day. Nature always becomes the best it can be. So it is your duty to become the best human you can be. Find your purpose and strive to master it. Become the best you can be. In conclusion, I believe in God because I'm conscious. I have never seen my consciousness, but I know that I am aware. Now, for what purpose? You may not know, and no other person or religion can tell you that. That is something you must find on your own, and the only way to do that is within you. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you got some value out of this video teaching. If so, please like and subscribe, as it helps this work to reach more and more people. If you like to read, please check out my book, The Boy, the Master, and the 7 Questions. And with that being said, I hope all you have a blessed week. And until we meet again, namaste.